Problem 4 is a very common core looking problem here. It's more of an application one where they give you a real world situation, a ramp. The other 3 problems were straight from the Common Core geometry regents, but this is probably what you can expect on a future regents, is kind of like an application. And here, the first thing you want to do is focus on what's relevant in the problem, and it is this ramp setup. Yes, we're building a ramp to get here, but the geometric figure we're interested in is that right triangle. And when we look at that right triangle, I can see, I got a 90-degree angle there, therefore that's going to point to the hypotenuse. So my ramp itself is the hypotenuse. I need to figure out where my reference angle is. I'm going to read that problem now. And I'm going to kind of scan. They tell me 4.5, I got that. They tell me 11.75, I got that. Here is where they're saying, determine and state to the nearest degree. As soon as I hear degree, I know I'm dealing with an angle. So they want me to do inverse trig. And what they're asking me to find is the angle of elevation. And the angle of elevation is the angle formed by the ground and whatever is sloping up. And in this case, it's the ramp. So the angle of elevation is right here. It's the angle formed by the ground and the ramp where they meet. And it's called the angle of elevation. And you can think of it as, you gotta go up that ramp at that angle in order to get to the top. So that's my reference angle. This is going to point to the opposite side, and then whatever's left over the ground, that's the adjacent. So in this problem, I can see I'm dealing with the opposite and hypotenuse, and that's a sine function. And because we're finding an angle, that will be the inverse sine of my opposite, which is 4.5, divided by my hypotenuse, which is 11.75. And I know that's going to spit out the angle of elevation, the angle that is forming that ramp with the ground. So let's go ahead and type that in our calculator. Inverse sine, 4.5, my opposite, divided by 11.75, my hypotenuse, and that's 22.518. And I'm just going to verify how they want me to round. They want me to round to the nearest degree, so I look at the tenths place and I say, well, is that 5 or higher? Yes. Then I'm going to round that up to a nice even 23 degrees. The angle of elevation is 23 degrees.